I think we used to be more informed, not because we chose to, but inadvertently we turn on to watch news or weather report, and we get local news. And so we had citizenry that were more informed. Now it's just not there because there's so much more out there for us to choose from, and usually we turn to YouTube or something online than your 5 o'clock news anymore. So people are kind of in the dark. I think something else has to step in to bring our citizens back to awareness, and without that awareness, I think the participation will continue to diminish.
So this is a randomly selected group of folks, demographically representative of the city of Los Angeles, who are meeting for 26 hours in this case to work through recommendations related to the city charter and make recommendations to the Charter Commission and also City Council, and perhaps in the future be part of a longer-term process related to charter review.
Los Angeles has not only just enormous challenges facing the city, but immense potential and creativity and diversity of experiences to address those challenges. Unless we move and evolve our systems to account for all those perspectives, we'll continue to experience the same results.
Surprised that it has taken 100 years to actually, I believe, getting this done now. Finally passing it and moving forward with it instead of the other few times where it's been on the table and not passed for one reason or another.
I've really appreciated the presenters coming in, giving their input, and I'm hopeful that even though I feel this is kind of more of experimental, maybe it's because my first time being here, but I'm hopeful that this can be implemented on a larger scale.
This looks like the LA that I know. It's not the LA that we get fed through social media or through the internet nowadays, but actually people that are our neighbors, people that are like real Angelinos, people who are in the city every day from all walks of life. And that's been what stood out to me like over these past 3 days now, sitting at the table, talking with everyone, hearing from where they're at. We've got representation from all over LA, both native Angelinos and transplants like myself, with all different stories and all different things that they're bringing to the table here.
So many of us just hang out with people who are like us, who work at the same jobs, have the same demographics, the same socioeconomics. And here I've had an opportunity to meet people that are from all over Los Angeles, people who formerly homeless, people who live in South Central, people who live in the Valley, people who live in Hollywood, so it's really great seeing this wide range of people who I wouldn't normally interact with in my day-to-day life, of different ages and races, that it's really great to see different people's perspectives.
I mean, I think this is a great thing because people are actually sitting down and talking instead of just yelling at each other, or, and I know it's random and I know it's bipartisan, so I think it's been a very positive experience so far.
People from each table got a chance to, if they felt like they were a minority at their table or they didn't feel comfortable speaking, there was a quiet room offered to make sure that their voice was heard better in a more respectful way, and still invited back to the major group to share their ideas.
So I am young, I am 17 years old, but I've had a lot of work with the unhoused recently. So I started volunteering at a local shelter at 13, and I've started talking to people. And then recently, I'd say about 2 years ago, I noticed a gap where these people were not being represented properly, and they weren't able to voice their opinions, and no one was listening to their opinions. So when I heard about this process, I wanted to get involved, not just myself, but also try and become an advocate for the unhoused voice in this process.
I was at breakfast at St. Joseph's homeless shelter because I'm homeless. Yeah, just standing in line for breakfast, and he was asking around, and that's how I signed up and got called in.
It's really great as a citizen to be able to come in and get involved and learn some stuff about the way our city works. I didn't know much at all about city council before I came here, and I know a lot now. Yeah.
I think this is democracy, and I think that if you want like a country or a city to run properly, then you have to have the citizens engage in discussion and politics, because that's what they're there for, for the people.
I mean, it's just great to see democracy at work at a local level, to see people's voices being heard, that like in front of city council, it's just a big deal.
I think deliberation amongst the people is the lifeblood of what keeps a nation's governance running. I think it's absolutely needed. It keeps people educated, it gives people a voice. It allows people to put out there what they feel, what they want, and to understand the process as well. Because not everybody has all the time to research all day and understand different things. So processes are like this, where you can just come up, learn, speak to others, not just hear from somebody speaking to you, but speak to your fellow peers as well. Yeah, I think this is beyond necessary. This is the lifeblood.
I think what's really exciting about civic assemblies and processes like this is that it represents an opportunity to get everyday people more involved in the governance of our communities, and gives people a say when it feels like there are so many ways that people don't really have a say in what's going on in our world.
It's the best way to reduce polarization, particularly effective polarization. It may not mean that everybody agrees all the time, but they understand one another and they can discover shared values. And when they have shared objectives, even better. They can actually work together to solve problems and leave the process friends and stay friends.
Clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me. Clap 3 times if you can hear me.
How did you figure this out?
The Greeks figured it out. The Greeks figured it out.
It's called democracy?
Yeah, they figured it out. It's called democracy. It's called real democracy, and it's what they had 2,500 years ago when they invented democracy. They knew that elections were inherently oligarchic because they're corruptible, right? They're corruptible by political ambition, and they're corruptible by moneyed interests. So they said, the Greeks said, that we need to do this by lot. That's the only way to do real democracy. And if you want democracy, it has to be done that way. And that's what we want to do. That's what we're showing the world, that this can be done, that this works. These assemblies are happening everywhere, all over the world. And they're solving problems. And we want people to hear about them and understand that, that we can do this. We, the people, can do this.